Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on the papers for my school journal. I'm finally getting around to it. Since the steampunk is history, I can center all my attentions on my school journal. And I have taken some copy paper and some notebook paper. And this, I'm not sure, it was some type of packaging and I cut it down to the size I needed, is going into my journal. And maybe not all of it will fit, but most of it will. And these are the pages that I sprayed. I did do the ink splunching or whatever technique first, where you rub down your pad and squirt your water and mix it up a little bit, and then you spounce your paper in it. I did that, but it wasn't covering a lot of the outside edges. So that's when I got in here and I did some sprays on it as well. You can tell that's a spray because I made a perfect circle. But I tried to go with browns and blacks. I did put a little green in here. And there may be a little bit of blue. I mean, I really want it to be like a certain color scheme. There's a little bit of green in here. And what we're going to do today is the reason I had to have these backgrounds pre-made. We're going to stamp and stencil on these to give it more interest and more of a storyline. I've picked out a bunch of stencils and stamps that had numbers on them. And you can see the oxide really popping out here. That's what that chalky look is. But I wanted to have like the alphabet and your numbers, that kind of thing, on a bunch of these papers. I've got a little bit of yellow that's popped out in them, but that was from probably the vintage photo or the walnut. No, the walnut stain gives you a green. Remember that. Walnut stain, oxide or whatever, always gives you a green tinge. And there's one of these other ones, maybe gathered twigs or something, that gives you like a yellow. See, it comes out there. Now, I didn't, this one I don't know if I'm going with. I may still. But see how everybody is green? I mean, I guess you could call it a green, but I'm calling it a yellow. It's on the back side of all these. But all of these pages are going to be backed against these, which were ones that I picked out of a scrapbook. And they're also in my color scheme that I'm wanting to go with. And sort of the patterns and stuff kind of coincide maybe with, you know, it's kind of turn of the century, Civil War time kind of school journal. I guess that's what you could call it. So anyhow, like I said, these are going to be backed on the white side of all these pages. And then they'll be put into the book. So let's clean off the desk and I will get to working on some of these. Oh, I forgot. I don't have a sneaky peek book, but I have a couple little things to show you that I made. Remember the lace master boards, and I had those little bits of trim that I trimmed off? Well, I kind of put them on this journal card. It's just a blank journal card on the back. It says, "See possibility everywhere." I've got a nice dark butterfly that kind of goes with this color, and I had a couple steampunk stickers. I mean, you can't really tell that that's what they are, but but there we go. It's a journal card for my stash. Now these little guys are the like a tab. Let me see if I can pull one of my other papers out here. So these are some of those Tim Holtzy kind of tabs that most everybody's doing now. Well, I kind of wanted to do one to see what it looked like. Well, I've left it open because when I glue it in, I want to make sure it sticks out from the edge of the page like that. I mean, these very well may make it into my school journal because they're kind of in that time period and color scheme. I got a little red in here, but that's okay. I need pops of color somewhere. So that's what I'll have. And then on the other side, there's just a butterfly. It's a brown butterfly, so I don't think it's going to hurt anything. And then the other one is this one. I've got a pointy finger because it says handle with care. You know, I always got to play with my words. I love anything Egyptian, so I put Egyptian theater here. And then it's got composed. I'm like, you usually see those bodies of the mummies all composed. Or is that decomposed? Whoops, I gotta watch myself. Okay. And then we have a type slide, and yeah. It's got actually like a little stamp and cancellation mark on that side, but that's okay. So yeah. I want to thank everybody for coming to visit and putting up with me today. You always have a lot to go through when you come to my videos, right? Well, we have some spray paints that I'm going to try. I've seen so many people do so many things. And I've got a lot of little tricks and tips and things I want to try out. I'm not that skilled at all this mess yet, but I'm getting there, you know. These are all the stencils. So I got a brick stencil because, you know, usually the schoolhouse is brick. I've got a number and word kind of thing there. I don't know if I'm going to use that one. I have this old scripty word. I have that, which was my new one. It's sort of like for plants, and then that's kind of really neutral. I have a few old ones over here, which is just the bee comb, honeycomb, and then a cathedral window, they call that. I don't know if you can see it on anything I'm showing you. It's one of my old ones. And I have a checkerboard, which don't ask me. I've had it I've had it probably older than you are. So, yeah, it's just, you know, they used to play checkers back then. So I thought, well, maybe I can add that onto one of the pages somehow. And I've got my trusty dusty bubble wrap here. And then I have a bunch of stamps right here. That's the first thing we're going to get to, I believe, is the stamps. Actually, I changed my mind. I've been seeing them use a stencil. They'll spray through it. And then where they've got that, you know, wet product already up here on the top of it, they'll put it onto another stamp. So since I wasn't quite sure the green was going to go, I'm going to try the first one out with that. I'm going to use walnut stain oxide. You can already see where it's green down there, so it going on here won't hurt a thing. I can always use this for a nature journal or something along those lines. All right. I've already killed one of my vintage photos, so that's history. And I'm trying not to hit this one. I've got to let the pump come all the way back up. And then I can spray again. I don't know why. That's just the way it acts. Let's see what I've got here. That's really interesting. Look at that. Let's set that to the side. And it had really subdued edges on it, so that's great. I don't want it to be too bold or anything on those edges. So now what they do is I think they spray it just a little bit, and then they'll lay it back down and get a second printing with it. And I think they usually use a paper towel to lay it on here and kind of press it out, and then whatever comes out from behind gets sucked up, so it doesn't mar the marks and things that you want it to do. Let's see what we get. I've been wanting to try this. I think Barbara at 49 Dragonflies has been doing it. Oh, cool. Look at that. I did get it. Now I'm going to do it on the other side over here. I still got some wet product. I'm going to spray it to the side. And then I'm going to go in again and see what we can get. It's not going to be as heavy as the other one, but that's okay. It's kind of a really cool effect. I've never tried this. I've yet to get in here and experiment with a lot of these different techniques I see them use. I just kind of store them up in my head. Now see, I didn't get a very dark one on that one, but that's okay. You can still see it. All right, we'll set that one over there to dry. And that's enough with the bees. Shoo, the outdoor cat came to visit, and I didn't think I'd hit the pause button. But I did. I'm lucky. Oh. Yeah, I don't do any kind of special effects, editing, any of that. The pause button is the only thing I touch. So anyway, this is that one paper that was like a packing paper, and it has a lot of brown on it. It looks basically like the paper I put here. I put my checkerboard through here, and I taped it off with some paper on either side. I probably got a little bit of room there that something might get through. We can always cut a little snip here and hide that. Yeah, I just didn't want it to like carry over, and I just wanted the checkerboard part to come out. Well, let's see if we can just do that. Oh, that'll work. All right, I'm using my ice spruce on this one, and it's just a spray stain. I like the spray stains more than the actual sprays, oxides. I really do. So I can see it go. Now this paper is a little, it wants to suck up it all. You know, it takes in every bit of that liquid and kind of disperses it a little bit. I'm going to just mist it a tad. And I need another paper to go on to. So let's check into this one. That one's pretty plain. And let me see about picking up all of my pieces here, because I don't need them now. It's necessary sometimes to staple off or paper off, however you would term that, some of your items, because you don't want that ink to keep going. Let's see what we got. Well, it's not as bold as I thought it would be. Okay. But it didn't go out of the bounds that I wanted it to. Now we're going to lay this over it and get our second coating. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. This may be better than the first one. Get that little bit right here. I got a little pet spider. I don't know if there's people out there that are afraid of spiders. I'm sorry, but I like spiders. And he's a little jumping spider, and he's not even big as the end of my finger here. My pinky finger at that. And he lives on the bar. And we got a bunch of stuff on there. My husband has these sugar for his bees. He has to make up some bee juice every now and then, you know. And then we have a bunch of other stuff sitting on there. And he kind of goes around it. And I guess he's hunting. He hunts for little gnats and things, because cat food containers are right down from there. And if you have cats, you know there's a lot of stuff that goes into having at least 4 of them in the house. Ugh. I'm going to spray this off real quick and wipe it down and get it out of the way. But yeah, he's jumped on me a couple times. He's always there because I eat in that one spot because I charge my phone after having it with me all night long. And so I sit there and charge my phone while I eat my breakfast. And he comes over there. I guess he thinks that's his spot. I don't know. But the little stinker, he's always there. All right, I got it set up now for where I can just use a stencil with a spouncer. And we're going to put on some detail that way. And this is one that's kind of not got the color all the way around the outside edge. So I picked my gathered twigs oxide here. And I'm just going to, I got a new spouncer, so I got to rub a little bit on there first. But I thought I would try to rub a little bit on the outside edge, just to fill in that white. Otherwise, I think it's fine. If you wanted a really dark edge on your paper, then you might want to go in with ground espresso or something like that. Now this is the opposite side of the page, and I sprayed it, so it mostly got covered. The gathered twigs, it must have a little bit of that yellowy tint in it, because it's sure showing up. All right. So that was part of what we needed to do. This side is fine. So I don't know which side I want to go with. Maybe this one, since it's the lighter one. And I've picked this stencil right here out. I don't know if you can see it that well. But it's called a Splash Layering Stencil. THS080. And we're just going to go in here and we're going to try to be very generic, or kind of like not going from one point to one point to get those straight lines. I'm wanting it more natural, kind of just here and there, and I'm not going to go all the way. There's, oh yeah, I like that. Ooh, 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 let's try that up here. Now this is going to be folded in half, so I don't need to worry too much about this one side. Oh yeah, that really makes a good difference. It gives you something on there in case you don't do anything with the page. It can still be written on, but it's got a beautiful little design on it. Alright, and then we're going to go up here and come down. I think it may blend in. I did spray it with Gathered Twigs Oxide spray, so I got a feeling it's going to blend in here at one point. But then that's okay. That gives you a natural look as well. And you can get even deeper. See how it turned out? Isn't that cool? Now, the sides that we stencil on, I don't know if we're actually going to stencil on both sides. It might be the other side gets the stamping. Let me just rub that down through here and see what we get. Well, I got a little bit. I think I'm fine with that. Let's turn that around and do it again. Maybe I'll try a stencil on each one. A different one. Because I think I have about 7 papers. Now that one you don't see as much, because I think that must be the Gathered Twigs spray. And it blends in. Alright. On this one we're going with the bricks, which it's Brick Layering Stencil THS038. And we're using Scorched Timber ink. And it is a really juicy pad. So I don't want it to get overtaken. So I gotta be real careful how I stick it on there. I just want a little. Yeah, my little spider. I think I'm gonna call him Henry. He's so cute. He's like a little light gray. I gotta really watch. I have one of those bars. It's a what is it? Like a verdi green, real dark green color with like a vein in it, like marble. It's just plastic. I got a modular home. I didn't want something we'd have to pay our lifetimes on. Ooh, I kind of like that. Now see, I can match that up and kind of go all the way to the top and maybe come out a little bit more up there. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. So let's go in again on the other side. So yeah, Henry, he's always on the move. I don't know if he's mad at me when I get out there and get in his spot. It's like Sheldon on Big Bang Theory. That's his spot. So he has jumped on me a couple times. Another time I went to grab the, it's like the, what do you call that? The Lysol spray so I could spray up something on the ground. And he must have been perched on that bottle because next thing I know, he's on the floor. And I said, no, you got to get back up here on the bar or somebody will step on you. So he didn't like me trying to pick him up. He did not like that at all. Kept jumping. So I finally got like an envelope or something that was big enough that he felt like he was okay. But I guess he's not afraid of me. He is always hopping on me. He's done that 2 or 3 times. little varmint. Now, I pulled this one away, and I forgot to check on my edges. And my edges had a lot of white on this brick side. So I'm going in here and putting me a little bit of ink all along the edge. and it's really adding a lot to the look. Check that out. I don't like that that's too uniform down there, so we're gonna swirl that around. Now you can make your own background papers. You know, you don't have to buy some. You can make them yourself with a few stencils, a few household items. Now that's a little bit white right there, so okay, this side I think I'm only going to stamp on. I did see them use white spray, so depending on if some of these are too dark for me, I might come back in and use something else. Let's see what else I got. Alright, I pulled this one around to do the brick on as well. The other side is darker, so that's, well, I can get more stamping on this side, I believe. So we're going to go with this side for some more brick. I think that is a cool look. It goes with the school theme really well. We're going back in with the scorched timber as well to really have it pop out. I was trying to get a certain kind of look going here. I don't know if I made it or not, because I wanted a lot of browns. Ooh, that's a little too uniform. Yeah, I wanted a lot of browns because of the, you know, the time period and that kind of thing. But I think I may have added a little bit too much. Now, see, I've got just too much of a uniformity going there, and I don't like it. So I'm going to come out a little bit there and a little bit right here. Yeah, that helped it. Yeah, when you're too straight in your lines, like it's going off here, so I'm a little bit fine with that. Though on this one, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do a zigzag on this one. So yeah, you wanna have a more natural look to it. So you don't want to be too right on the money, boxy box. That's what. Oh, and see, I don't like that. So we're going to match it up, go back in, come out a little further, and blend it out. I mean, do it a little bit softer and a little bit softer, and that'll blend that out for you. See, it blends off. And I'm not even going to finish down here. It blends out at the bottom, and I'm happy with it. All right, there's two with our brick. All right, we're going in with this stencil now, which is a script layering stencil, THS 149. It's got a really old font on it. Now, I do have to go around the outside here with some probably vintage photo or something, but we're going back in with more of this scorched timber because it's so nice and wet. I'm thinking it'll go through the stencil. Some of the stencils, when they're really small like this, it's hard to get your ink to go through. So I'm kind of letting this really wet pad work for me. Oh yeah, see? And we'll go down to the bottom, because I didn't go all the way down there. I'm going all the way to the bottom on this one and working my way up, just so it's got more of a corner to corner kind of theme. And we're going to get that 459 on that one, definitely. Okay, yeah, like it. Okay, now I got to do the outside edge real quick. And where's my vintage? I don't know that that's vintage photo. I think that might be gathered twigs, but we'll go and see if vintage will work at the moment. It looks like it is. So I'm going to go around the outside edge here with vintage photo and just cover up the white areas. And I'll be back. Okay, I went around the outside edge of that and got that covered with vintage photo. And I also did this one as well. And I'm going to use this stencil that is it's industrial layering, THS 051. and I love it. It's one of my newer stencils, and I just love it. It's got numbers on it and words, and you know, it doesn't have cat, dog, and all that on it, but that's okay. We're going with gathered twigs oxide, and we're going to kind of figure out which way we want to come in here. Let's see. Let's just kind of come in from the corner and come down. Try to grab at least a word. And then we're going to catch these numbers down here. And catch that too. And then come back in with the found. Yeah, it's not very dark, so that's great. That's great. We're going to finish it off down here at the bottom with this row of numbers. Yep. And I think we'll do the other side. I'm using an old book. I'm hoping that I don't have to cut off too much of these since I'm putting so much work into the edges and everything. So we'll see. We'll see. Some of these you just don't know. Especially if you pick a smaller book. I'm going to go down this way. Pick up this 375. Since that didn't get got the other time. Alright, yeah. And I think we'll put Lost down here. Why not? Yeah, just like that. And I might use that as my outside edges from now on if I need to. And that one's done. Got it done on both sides. And this is the last page that I had to do anything to. And, oh no, I got another one back behind me. I mean, I got something over here. It's like a little plant. This little guy, that is my very newest stencil. It's a deco, and it's THS 182. So I think I might put that one on here, just kind of like in the corners, just to give it a little interest. Alright, I'm going in with a scorched timber again on this one, and like I said, I'm just doing a few little plants down here. Kind of, the reason I'm going with this one is because back then they grew a lot of their own crops to eat, and they had to miss school a lot of the times when they had to do any kind of harvesting. So this kind of has a lot to do with that time period, and so I thought that might work out well. Oop, I don't want to cut that off. There. So we'll do a little bit on this side. I'm not going to go as far up on this one. Just kind of go about like that. Yeah. See how I did it? That one went all the way up, but then this one's just like halfway. And I don't know that we're going to do anything to the back side. I didn't really have any stencils left. We could go in on this side with the gathered twigs, just a little bit, and that will give us something to be in the layering, because you want to layer a little bit when you stamp over it. You want to have something of interest underneath. So we'll do the same thing. Yep, just a little bit, that's all it took. And it's sort of a muted tone. It's probably picking up a little bit of that scorched timber that's still on the top of the stamp. I mean stencil. It's probably picking up a little bit of that. That one I got a little bit harder with. But we're just going to kind of work our way over this way a little bit with it. There. Yeah, so that's more muted. Didn't need it to be that strong. Okay. Okay, I got one last paper. I forgot about it. And I'm going to go on this darker side. I'm going to leave the light side alone. I may stamp on it. I may leave it alone. I don't want to do too much on every single page, you know. I just wanted a little bit here and a little bit there. So we're going to go in with the scorched timber and put in some more of our not tic-tac-toe, checkers. Or checkers. And I'm only going to kind of do half of it, where it's kind of fading away. Yeah, kind of like that. And then I'll come in on the top side over here and do the same thing. It's always neat because whatever you've sprayed on the back here, you've got something on there that's going to show through. It's kind of like a resist technique in a way when you use a stencil like this, because some of it's not going to show up. Yeah, like that. I'm going to actually go down just a little bit further with this one. Yeah, like that. And that's all she wrote with the with the stenciling. Now we're getting into the fun stuff, the stamping. All right, we're starting out with the shattered stamp, CMS 466. I'm just leaving it on the card that it comes in on. And we're going to go ahead and flip this and use this on this page. And the way it's made, it doesn't exactly go all the way out, so I may just kind of balance it right there in the dead center. I guess this element of the look kind of goes with, you know, the old vintagey looking thing of everything being kind of cracked or aged. Old photos, old pots, old pictures. I mean, they used to use things until it fell apart. It did. I mean, they even saved things out in the sheds, all the cording from the hay bales. I know my husband's grandma, her husband, I don't know who saved them. All these old milk bottles, the gallon milk bottles. They never knew when they were going to need something, or that might have been something they used to water the garden with or plant things in. Ooh, look how that looks good. You just never knew. And we're going to do the other side because these pages are not going to be together, so you're not going to actually see them side by side. I can do the same on either side and get away with it. Yeah, they are always saving something because it had a purpose, or they could give it a purpose. I really hate that they've really not kept up recycling, because we used to be able to put our glassware and our plastics and all these different things. I live out in the country, so, you know, I know it helped somewhere along the line. And I'm going to actually go in here where this little bit's still showing. But I didn't mind separating things and doing my part. But I guess it was their end of the thing that they didn't want to keep up. Not too sure that worked out that great on the stamping that extra section. Let's see what it does over here. Well, that's all right. I can live with it. I got a little bit more up there. I'm going to use the same one, but I'm going to come in at an angle. What angle am I coming in at? So up here, and I'm going to come down here to a point. This is the way to get around having that raw edge showing. I may have a little bit of a second printing here on that one area. That's okay. Yeah, he gave me a little bit that was still up in here. But that's all right. I really like that. I really do. Huh. Let's do that again. Let's go right up in here. Oh. Now, where you see the oxide coming out here, the white specks, that reminds me, I may get in here and actually do some you know, splattering. I usually don't. I usually am not a splatter person. But I'm thinking of the chalk. You know, they used to have chalk dust and white chalk. And that's why I did a lot of really dark surfaces here. Just in case I wanted to come in with some really white or light colors, I could go across that. Alright, I think I got that stamped off. In this typography, CMS 188, I got all kinds of great stuff. I've got the writing fluid, I've got the hand doing the script, I have the alphabet and numbers, and I'm going to use it all. So, let's see. I've got a big alphabet. I think that'll fit on here. And we're going to put that in here. And I think I'm going to put it on this side. It'll show better. Because I wanted it to all be able to be seen. It's got something at the top. I can't remember what that said. But this is all script. Text hand. So I'm going to put the hand right over top of it. I'm going to put it about right here. Okay. Didn't come out too dark, did it? But that's okay. I think you can see it. What if I stuck it over here? Let's go a little bit harder. Alright, let's see what we can get this time. Go down here at the bottom. Much better. I lost well, I didn't really lose the numbers. They're a little light. Alright, and then I want to take and use the hand. I think that's too big. I have to put this back down on here. And use this again. That can go up there. Now, I want to get the hand and make it come down just about like that. I have to watch this one little area up there because when I used it on my my scheduling book over there, I noticed that it took the ink right there and it was showing. It gave a triangle that I had to hide. Okay, text hand. We'll put the hand back on here. And I think with the next one, I'll use the bottle. It's quite pale. I think it has to do with the oxides affecting it. So let me see what else I got here. I've got this. And I've got this. Let me see. Let me use my big board. And we're going to put that going across the top. Up here. Like that. It's going to go a little bit on the other side. I may just wing it in the middle. And then I'll catch it on both sides. Okay. Go like that. Right there. Otherwise, I'd have to go up and down the side there to get all the writing. Okay. There we go. Yeah, my text is not quite coming out as dark as I thought it would. But I think that has to do with all this spray I've got on here. And I sprayed them up. I wanted all kinds of colors to come out. Well, neutral colors. Alright, we have the ink bottle that we're going to put like right there. Let's see what that does. Okay. There. Yep, I can read it. Stamp him off. I don't know that I'm going to use that anywhere else in here. Alright, this one is next, the Inspector CMS 465, and I'm using this great big script stamp, or alphabet stamp, whatever you want to call it. So that's going there, and we're just going to put that on here in some capacity, maybe up in here. Hopefully it'll show up good since this is such a light background. Because I can see that it's going on the stamp really well. It's dark. So it must be the surface that's giving me grief. You know. Alright. Now stick that up here right in that spot. Push it in. I hope everyone is having good weather and good health lately. It's been some crazy weather here. It's forever looking like it wants to rain. We have had some hot, and boy is it hot and steamy. But that rain weather just will not leave us. I don't know what's going on. Alright, that's the only one I'm doing there. I may be coming back in with these stamps at a later date. With some other effects and items that I'm going to use in the book. So look for them again. The next set of stamps we're using is THMM 123. I just know it has a crackle and a splatter kind of situation here. But it's just these little stamps. I love this one with the Z. It starts out with a Z, and I don't know that's going to show up that well since nothing else has. And it's got a small script stamp as well on there. So let's see what we can get on this one. It might take to this one better. Okay. And right there. Yeah, it turned out good. We're going to do one on the other corner. Right there. Yep, those turned out really good. Alright, and we're using the script stamp that was on the other side of this stencil set. Stamp and stencil. I love the stamp and stencil sets. I went and checked. There's supposed to be some sales going on at Joann and at scrapbook.com or something, or maybe Amazon. Anyhow, I didn't really see anything that I didn't already have that I needed that badly, so I just kind of bypassed it. That's what I try to do. I try to see if there's anything I can live without or live with that I don't want to get away from me. Okay. The last stamp set we're using is Curiosity Shop CMS 482 and my favorite number strip. And we're going to do a little bit of like ghost stamping, like first, second, and third degree stamping. I'm not sure if you've seen that. You've heard it as first, second, and third degree, or I don't know. There's another word for it, the way you do it, but it's where you keep stamping and stamping off to where you've got like nothing. It winds down to nothing. So I'm going to actually put the numbers going across right here. And I think this was the same one that Barbara at 49 Dragonflies was using. And she was saying that she was not... She was staying in a box or something. I forget what she was saying. So I'm going to put this one down below it. And then, see, it's fading off into the... And then we're going to go over here to this corner or side. And it's really going to fade off. It's just barely there. So that's first, second, and third degree stamping is the way I call it. Some people call it ghost stamping because it starts to look like a ghost. So that's sort of how I'm going to do it. I'm going to pick ones here and there to use this on. I'm going to try not to get too crazy. Alright. This is the side I want it on because it's so dark. Let's see if this will show up for me. I really love this font. I don't know what it is, but it's really pretty. We're going to actually go down the side. Yeah. And then we're going to do it again. I think I moved it. Whoops. Let's see. One more. See how I'll be able to show you side by side now. Yeah, look at that. How it kind of just fades off into the distance. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you could play with this and have some fun. Alright, here's the next one I'm going to try it on. And it's the one that's got the little plants. I called it the plants. That might be their corn crop coming up. You just don't know. But we're going to just kind of go around. Maybe right here going across. And stick that down. See how that shows up. Some of these are a little on the darker side. So yeah, it's going to be sort of a really mild look to it. I'm going to do a second stamp and see if I can get a little bit more to come off. Yeah. Yep. I like that too. Let's see. I want to definitely have one on the brick. I don't think there's a right side up on this brick, so we'll just pick this side. It would kind of look like graffiti. Alright, let's see. Let's just do one kind of on the outside edge again. Do one there. Is it showing? See, it's so dark. It's very, very mild. So I'm going to do one on the other side as well. I don't mind it being that way. It's kind of a pretty neat layering effect. We're going to go up this time in numbers. Yeah, your numbers don't always have to be this way. They could be any which way you feel like you want to put them. Now see, I really like that. That dark really hides part of it. It's a grungy kind of a look for me. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to get too crazy. I do have a notebook page I'm going to put at least one run of them on, because this is going to get stuck against a back of another paper. So I'm going to do it right along the bottom, right like that. who knows, I might have pockets or something in some of these spots, so not all of them might show. I'm just putting them where I kind of like the idea of them. Now, I really want to get rid of this blue where that spray, it was that walnut spray. It's not exactly green or blue. I don't know what color you would call it. But, yeah. It kind of took over. Let's see how it affects my ink here. I push in really good on it. Yeah, it didn't quite get rid of it, but that's alright. I'll do a 2nd degree stamping. And there we go. I kind of like that. Let's see if I can get one more down here. I don't think I will, but I'll try. It's really light, so I think it might get it. Very pale, but it's there. Alright. Let's see what... Okay, I had one last thing to try, and that was our bubble wrap. Alright, I'm going to just kind of pedal through here and see which ones I kind of want something on. I'm going to use my scorched timber, I believe. Let's see how dark it is, and see if I can live with it. Ooh, kind of different. I don't think I want it quite that uniform. So let's see if we can just kind of paw it on there in a certain way. I gave it a little bit of this and that. Yep. I don't have anything on the back side of that, but I don't think I care. I don't care. Okay, which side did I smear that on? Was it this side or that side? I think it's that side. This is kind of the bee honeycomb. Yeah. I like that second little bunch of it more. So we got those two. This one's too dark. I don't think I want it on that side. I may put a little bit on this side. Just to give myself a little bit of something else to look at over here. Just a little bit. Yep, just a little bit. Okay, that one's fine. This one's really dark. I don't think we need anything on that one. And maybe a little bit up in this corner. I'm trying to figure out which side I've used. That side. Yeah, something up in the corner. Maybe something down in that corner. Not that you can see it. And nope. Put a little bit on this one to kind of counterbalance what's already on here with the lettering, you know. Put a little bit more on there. Yeah. I like how that looked. Now this one, I may put a little bit. Because we sort of have a little patchy area right there. That could use something. And maybe a little bit down here if I've got enough left. Yep, I did. Nope. Nope. Maybe a little on that one. Ooh. Okay. And then I'm going to let that one go. Alright, let me put everything away and I will bring all my papers over and let's see what we ended up with today. Okay, let's look through them now. It's kind of exciting. Alright, there's no guarantee all of them are going to make it in. I don't know how many is going to actually fit in that book after all is said and done, especially when I start to decorate it and put a few things in it. So this is one of the really light pages. I didn't have very many light ones, but this is definitely one of them. And the box out of these, it doesn't matter. They're getting glued down to those scrapbook papers that I showed you over there. This one got a little bit of that bubble stamp on it, and it kind of needed a little bit of something, I felt, and it helped bring the black around. It helped travel your eye around. Of course, that one doesn't have anything on the back. Here is the crackle. I really liked how the crackle ended up on here. It might be like the top of their desk, you know. It's just, I got to figure out how I'm going to have everything work in. Now, this one may not even be into this journal. That may be for a bee journal or a nature journal or something I do. But I wanted one with green. I think the blue may be the color that I try to carry through in a lot of cases here. Now, that one didn't have anything. Some I just didn't want. I didn't want to busy it up, you know. I have a little bit of the bubble on here with the brick, but that could be like the outside wall of their building. Here you can almost make out the checkerboard. It's not much. I did want this little bit of bubble on here to work the black around, you know. And like I said, in some cases, some of this might not show because of what else I'm going to put on the page. There was that really cool first, second, and third degree stamping that I did. And then it has a little bit of stencil work behind it. You can't really pick it out. It's not, and then I did leave this side by itself, you know, without anything on it. This is that really old script. I really love it. I didn't do any white splattering. Now that will probably be something that I might do at a later date. I may pick up one of these. Okay, let's hold this one out. And we're going to splatter on that one and see how. We're going to test that one. So here is this one with the plants and the first and second degree stamping. And some stamping over here with the alphabet. This one has some of the bubble print on it. I just kind of wanted it to speak for itself. And this one has a very faint showing of the numbers down the side. I really like how that turned out. And then there's this one with a little bit of the numbers, the letters, and the bubble. You just make out the bubble there. And then this is that weird paper. I don't know. It's kind of like a gray tint when you get it. And it's like bumbled up in your Amazon packages or something. So I always use it. Oh no, this might be the one that comes in the Canon ink cartridges. It's sort of a weird color. Okay, well, instead of me sitting there talking about that, let me get to doing some splattering. I think my best bet is to just use this picket fence white spray stain as is. I'm going to go ahead and just pull it out, and we're going to see how it does. Oh, it's kind of fading in a little bit. That's what I was kind of worried about. It could totally just disappear. I don't know. I don't know if you can see it way down in there. It could also be revitalizing this oxide and bringing that color up into the white. It acts like it's not got much going on here. Yeah, I can already see it. Alright, I took a little bit of this titanium white acrylic paint, and I've put it onto my stamp block, and we're going to see if we can get it to work. There's no guarantee. I've got a fan brush here, and we're going to mix it up just a little bit. It might not work because this is a liquid as well. I haven't used it in a while, but it's still a liquid. I might have to wet it down a little bit more. But we're going to see what we got. I may still get the yellow coming through. More than likely. Put a little bit more water on there. Let's see. That's a big old boogie. We don't want it. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit better. I don't know what they use. I don't. it could be that I have to cover this with something else before I can give it any white splotches. Then again, we might come back and somehow make them work. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. I'm trying to get it in the darkest spots over there. Okay. I can tell why I'm not a splatter girl now. It just doesn't work. And it's getting all over my box, but that's okay. That's what it's for. I can already see that it's turning kind of yellow again. Oh well, that's all I'm going to put on there for now. Oh, goodness. Alright, it didn't turn out too bad. I had to pluck off some really large clumps that hit there, and they're still not completely dry, though I did hit it with a heat gun. So, I want you to know that you too can do backgrounds, whether they be with ink pads, with spray inks. I did it both ways here. And you can use stencils, you can use stamps, and just build you up some cool looking effects on some pages. And you can even just use trash like I did with the bubble wrap. I just got that out of a mailer. But I really want to encourage you to get out there and play and experiment. And I like all my subscribers and viewers to know that I really appreciate you coming by and visiting. And come again sometime and see what else I got to show you. All right, everybody have a great, great day. Bye-bye.